It is the middle of November and it is our second day of finally having some cool weather. So this morning I thought it'd be a great time to get out here with my long sleeves on and take you on a little tour around the garden before the cold claims its victim. So let's go. Oh, and a little disclaimer, if you're here because you want to see this great garden that's perfect in every way, that's perfectly cleaned, regularly harvested, perfectly weeded, you may want to turn around because that ain't this. That's kind of an example of what's growing on here. And one more thing, y'all are family now, so I didn't clean up before I start showing you around. I think the best place to start is these bananas. Check out still how lush they are. They need lots of cutting back, but let's go count how many different racks of bananas are growing. Now, I did not do the appropriate cut back and management of this banana circle. So I do have bananas, but I'm not getting very big racks. But here is one. There is two. I know I saw another one in here. Oh, no, I got that one. Oh, there's one across there. That's three. There, from this side, that's three. And this would be four. I have one in the garage. That makes five. We lost one already this year to the raccoons. And I don't see any more right this second, which is good. One of the telltale signs, if you're wondering if you're having bananas, is look down on the ground. If you see the red leaves off the big flower or these very interesting little flower pods, then you have bananas. All you need to do is look up. And I certainly cannot complain about the lemongrass. It has been super successful right here. And if you're new to the channel, you may not know my lemongrass's dirty little secret, especially when things next to it look absolutely dehydrated. But we have a hybrid hot water heater. We won't be able to see it from here, but the drain from that hot water heater drips out here constantly, because what a hybrid heater does is take the hot air from our garage and use it, and it creates a condensation, kind of like an air conditioner, the reverse of an air conditioner. Oh, there it is, right there. And it allows it to regularly be dripping right here, clean water, condensate, and guess what? I never have to water my lemongrass. Now, the comfrey's doing okay. This lime tree, this pepper plant, you can see what kind of love and care everything has gotten this year. It has been quite the crazy year, but this one didn't give up. It died back on top, but here we are with another lemon tree. If we head over here, this is my sweet potato bed. That was standing up a couple of days ago. In fact, last weekend I made a video out here and that was not tilted over. So I don't know if that was winds or animals. So there's what's left of the okra there. The sweet potato bed has done really, really well, but I've made mistakes and I have a video coming about that. I will do my top mistakes from 2024, and the bed is great, but what I did, not so much. Over here is the end of the loofah trellis, and we also have beans growing here, Thai long beans, and so I've let a lot of them just dry up here, and I won't use the dry beans, honestly. I will take them and spread the dry beans out back in the meadow and just let them take hold and just continue to add nutrition back to the land. We haven't done anything with our worm bin this year. It has just been, it's been crazy around here. Now, we have the rosemary here, which needs to be moved because it gets too much water right here. And then if you saw my video from last week talking about the greenhouse I'm going to build, now it's cool enough to do it. Of course, the cover blew off because I didn't have it clipped down the other side. And I've still got basil here to do some things with. African blue basil here as well. But I am starting to get some of my supplies together to finish up drip irrigation. And as you can see, the African blue basil is just everywhere, and I'm so excited about that. My avocado is looking fantastic. The cassava has really taken off over there. There was some, shoot, I forget the name of the plant right this second, but there was something that's a bulbing root taro. There was taro in this. I don't see the leaves, but I think it's because it's died back for the season, and maybe that African blue basil has made it sad. Now this is my original African blue basil plant right here. I bought one gallon plant, looks like a tree, and I haven't cut it back, but it will need to get cut back because it'll just keep on growing. And I have this fun little nursery area over here that is in need of a lot of love, where I have been doing cuttings. You can see we started dragon fruit, got some coreopsis here. Here's that cassava plant that has done really, really well now that I have forgotten about it and left it kind of shady. Let's see, there's some ironweed over there. And this is a place that spiderwort started coming up. It's just a native here in my area, and so I just let it grow. I've still got some betel down here and a little key lime tree that just seems to be doing really, really well. And somewhere in here there's supposed to be mint, but a lot of other things have added their self. And I mean, while I'm showing you embarrassing things, look at my poor green stalks. I mean, they are just abused. They really need to get dumped. I had this great tower of basil at the beginning of summer. When we had the storms, it got moved out of the way and just sort of stopped being on the watering cycle. So that's okay though, because I can take all the soil in here. I can dump it out. I can amend it, and I can start again. That is probably one of my most favorite things about gardening, is you can screw up a lot. I mean, a lot, and still get to eat food, and still have some pleasure in doing it, and still get some joy, and still lower your blood pressure, and get outdoors and ground yourself, and get food to eat that you know where it came from. Over here, it looks like we're almost ready for our first, well, we are, how about that? Our first orange. So we'll take a look at that. It looks like some folks have been trying to get into it unsuccessfully. We have a kaffir lime, and then some more basil cuttings that we did. Those look like they're toast now. So with everything I have, I may end up just putting this and this directly into compost, and then taking the cuttings I want from over there. One of the things, I talk about this African blue basil a lot, but one of the things that is absolutely awesome is it is sterile. And so the only reason it is spread everywhere is because I have stuck it in the ground. It is not spreading by seed. Could you imagine trying to grow that thing if it's spread by seed? You would be out of control everywhere in your garden, everywhere. Speaking of additionally out of control, when I did my sweet potato video back in the summer, I threw the extra vines on top of here and they rooted. And so this is now my new sweet potato bed, but I've got to start watering it some. But it's just made itself at home. We've got 2 dragon fruit that are still just trying. I'm embarrassed. I talked with my neighbor who grows dragon fruit and grew up growing dragon fruit. And he's like, you really got to do X, Y, and Z. One of those things is fertilize and water consistently. And so we haven't done that very well. And so we're going to work on that. But I am very proud of my onions. I planted these, I think last year, from store onions. And then one of them fell over and dropped seeds, and all of them over here were from the sprouts from those seeds. And so ultimately I can plant some other things here, but anytime I need fresh green onion tops, I can run out and get them right here off of the patio. Over here, the bamboo is starting to really take off with a lot of sprouts. I'll be able to split it out and use it in more places. And then here is one of our mulberries, same thing. It's already in a pouch right now, but we'll be able to get that planted out. If we come back here and take a look, we have another mulberry tree. Now this is what I call orchard row. And so on orchard row, I added in these garden beds because the soil back here was terrible. And so all of these plants, all these trees were in pots. And so I have 12 different fruit trees and shrubs in here: mulberry, lemon, Myers lemon, there's a lime, there's blueberries, there's another orange down there, and even a pomegranate at the end. And then back behind here, oh, and some longevity spinach here on the outside. Back behind here, I started more plants from the summer when one of the nurseries had a big sale. So I've got a couple of grapevines here. I've got some nectarine. I have a pawpaw and some loquat down there. We'll come around the other way and take a look. And then I also have planted native in the garden for the birds. And so I haven't shown this much, but it's in bloom right now. So it's buried right now. This is a beauty berry. And I don't want to eat this. You can make jams and stuff out of it, but we don't eat a whole lot of jams. But the birds love it. And so this is one of the ways that you can plant in your garden to encourage wildlife, because wildlife like birds will come and eat the other pests, the small pests that are eating your garden. In fact, this mulberry tree has been a great source of food for the birds, and I find them once it starts blooming. I do get some of the mulberries off here. They don't last very long, so literally you're picking and eating mulberries the same day or the next day. But the birds are getting them, and then they're flying through and they're digging in and they're picking off the other caterpillars and bugs that are eating my stuff. Let's keep on walking down the road here. The other thing I've done out here is I've done my best to plant natives. So there's some pentas and there's some salvia underneath there, a little red one right there, so that we can have more pollinators back here. That should be echinacea, I think, right there. And then we have some rudbeckia here, and that one's sort of in the middle. And these are blueberries. They're so tiny. These beds all need a little bit of love. They need irrigation. They need me to pay attention to them. This year has not been my best year for taking great care of my garden. In fact, this is pretty dehydrated here. Oh my gosh. I got to get the hose out here today and get some drip irrigation going on these guys. Over here is sort of my on-ground composting. So when I take down beds, I pull vines. We just sort of stack them up here. You can see there's some old okra back here, some leaves and limbs. The reason I do this is I really just want to ultimately have a nice big wildflower patch right in here. And this helps me build some of the fertility, lets me not send the stuff to the landfill, and I'm not having to deal with a lot of the things that I don't want growing in my compost bin. So it is kind of funny to walk out here and see even food growing. So look, right here are some beans, and I see some more beans over there. Those are probably cowpeas, honestly, because I planted those and I threw those vines out last year. And so now this year we've got cowpeas out here growing. And I mean, technically I could come and pick those and eat those. That water does come up out of the creek. These are attached to the backs of people's houses. If you've not been on the channel before, I am in the middle of the city. I just happen to be blessed with all of this around me. And so what that means though is that that water has all kind of chemicals from people's yards, and I don't really want to eat food that's been exposed to all of that. Oh, I forgot to show y'all something. For those of you who have been keeping track of the garden studio, it's not ready for view yet. It's not fully organized yet, but with the help of my buddy Gene, I now have stairs. He dug all of this out, leveled it out, helped me get rocks in here. Actually, he did all of this. All I did was buy the materials. We even used the torch to burnish the edges. And so now we took a double set of stairs for like an RV or something, or a mobile home or whatever. And this particular set allowed you to put your handles on the left or the right. And two of them are perfect. I can open it up. I can step up easily going in and out of my garden studio. So our avocado tree is looking great, though I did make another mistake. I was supposed to trim it back sooner because now I see buds. And if I cut it back now, that may hurt my chances of getting avocados. But I may just go ahead and have to do that anyway, because it needs to be contained a little bit so that I can put appropriate coverage on it to keep the raccoons from eating everything in sight. Because this year, we got goose egged on the avocados. Goose egged. And there were bunches. I even tried caging them. Didn't work. Goose eggs. Now, this is hilarious. I planted these eggplant and then forgot about them. And all at once, they are finally kicking in and growing. Now, a lot of these have been on here too long now. Like that's not going to taste good. But some of these other ones are still great. That'll make a nice dish. I've got cucumber growing underneath. I've got tomatoes. Look, tomatoes. Because I didn't take them all the way out. I just cut them back at the end of the season because they just looked terrible. And then I've got beans in here that are growing up. Some of the beans are coming from across on the other end of the garden bed. Check this out, over the top of the trellis. Lots that could be picked and used all the way down to the ground, over and across here. Then I have more beans planted in here. Look, I still have a bell pepper on. That's cool. I don't know what that is. Oh, that must be ginger. This is probably actually Thai galangal right here finally coming up. And one mistake that I made that y'all warned me about was not to let this hummingbird vine get in this bed. Well, it did. And right this minute, I don't see very much up here. So I don't know if I got a hold of it or if the cold is helping. But I have pulled hummingbird vine. It's native. It's just aggressive. It's not the right place for it in my yard. I do love it being up the tree here. That's great. But I don't love that it has vines popping up out of the ground everywhere. Some of those are even that. And then up out of the garden bed right here. And so here's the other side of that. Now look. I have no idea how that got there, but that's cucumber. That's a cucumber. I mean, I know I can explain how the beans got there, but that's over there. Here's a cucumber here too. So maybe the critters have gotten them and eaten them and left me seeds. I've got some cucumber growing up in here as well. Here's my cucumber trellis. No cucumbers on it. They're all the way over there. I've even got some, what is that? The little pepper. Now I won't be able to think of it. But the little peppers, you make pepperoncinis out of them, make Greek peppers out of them. Shishito. And then we have pumpkins. In fact, I have one right here that I think could use a little bit of support, but I thought it was kind of fun that it's come out of that bed, up and over, and dropped down. Let's sneak through here. More tomatoes, more beans, and here is the pumpkin patch. I was whining about this, that nothing was happening, and nothing was happening, and nothing was happening. And now, look, something's happening. I've got Seminole pumpkins. There's one over there. That makes 2. That makes 3. That makes 4. 5. Did I just kick one on the ground? No. 6. So I have 6 Seminole pumpkins that I can see through here. And imagine that, more basil. Thank goodness I only put a couple of small plants in here of the basil, huh? I don't see any more over there. All right. So there is that. Now, here is my hot pepper bed, except for some of these little mini bells here. So these are not hot. I can see that the animals have been testing them again. And so these are not hot, but all of these are ghost and reaper peppers and some Thai bird's eye pepper down there. And so I planted these originally for my nephew who wanted to have some spice in his food, and now is not eating spice so much. So I'm going to turn this into my pest control bed. So I'm going to take all of the peppers, now that they're red, I'm going to let them dry out, and I'm going to grind them up, and I'm going to make some pepper to help control the raccoons when the different plants are blooming. Some more African blue basil, and I think this is one plant. Honestly, I think it's just one plant. Might be two, but I think it's just one. See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. And, aw, are you sleeping? You taking a nap? Aw, we were taking a nap and I disturbed. Sorry. We cut back all the okra, and it's trying again because it's been so warm. Still have a pepper on here. Let's see, more African blue basil here. You know, it'll grow, y'all. It will grow. And some salvia in here because I just took some cuttings and knocked them in there so that I could keep them going. And those actually propagate really, really well from cuttings. The fig tree is trying to put on more fruit. It doesn't know what to do with this weather. I mean, we should have been done with figs in August, September. And so the weather's just been so crazy. And I can see, like, we had a whole bunch of rain and we lost all the leaves. I am going to get my little mini chainsaw out here and really bring it back some to see if we can get reset for the next year. And maybe we give up a few figs in doing that, but I need to get it a little bit under control because it's getting harder to mow around on the other side. This bed, we pretty much didn't get to use anything because the raccoons use this as their litter box. And so that was very nice of them. Fortunately, not over here. I do have garlic chives growing. This was a great experiment. You may have heard me talk about this before. I bought chives in a pot at the store. And I put half of them out just like they were. I separated them and I put them in the bed and let them grow. The other half, I cut the tops off and then just put the roots in the ground with just a little bit of top. And I mean, it is a significant difference here. So while for some things it's great to cut the top out when you transplant it, for the chives, it significantly changed their growth trajectory, significantly. Looky here, we have persimmons. We have beautiful persimmons, and I will tell you, this net has been a game changer. We've had to figure some things out because the bed we put here is right underneath the tree, which gave the raccoons, which is why the raccoons use this as a litter box, by the way. The raccoons, you can see, could stand here and try chewing holes to get the pulp off of the persimmons. But ultimately, they did not win them all, and we've been able to keep it, start trimming it back so it's back up and off the bed, and we've already had a couple of good harvests off of this. The other thing that this net has been really good for, it really helps my neighbors not feel the need to come and help themselves. We had a conversation about that, and I've made friends with that neighbor now, but he's acknowledged that he can't actually just walk up and take something off. And so I feel like that was worth every penny that I spent. I think 20 or 30 bucks for that cover. And I'll get a couple of years use even with the raccoon holes in it, but well worth the investment. Now, let me show you one thing that did go wrong with it. Let's just pop in here. It had a string tie to sort of pull it together, and the tree is smaller now, but it was too wide. We kept stretching it, and the raccoon was actually able to pull at this enough that it popped the string and it opened up. And so the raccoon did get in here once, but we came back, we had these old tie wraps off of something. I always try to save these because I know how to open them back up. And so for the most part, they haven't been able to reopen this bag because it's just high enough off the ground that they can't hold on and skinny up and do anything with it. And look at there, I can see over there I've got new growth already. That's crazy. But we'll get a couple of more pickings off of here and have some more delicious persimmons. And y'all, they have been so delicious. Let's come around this way. Let's see what we got here. Got one more fig tree here. Look at there, look at there. Same situation, you know, it just died back with all the water we had. We had a big rainy season for a few months. Oh, but look here, I don't know what it was, but that was a chrysalis right there, y'all. That was, I think, if memory serves, probably the one that goes on citrus that we see, swallowtail. Probably a swallowtail there, which is kind of crazy. Like, how did it get all the way over here when I don't have any citrus up on this side at all? So maybe it was something different instead. I cut back this peach to see if it's going to do anything. When I torched this ground, which you can see did nothing here. I really messed up the fruit trees up here and really hurt some of the plantings. I mean, if you look at my peach tree, it is just bare, and it's been bare all fall, all summer long after doing that. But up here, I'm still getting wing beans, and these are probably going to start petering out pretty soon because they don't like these colder mornings. But I have wing beans. I have some cabbage growing here that I can make some soup with. I still have a few more blooms on the wing beans. Another wing bean here. This trellis has been cool, but I will tell you, one of the mistakes was not wrapping that with some kind of a burlap or something, because the plants just can't shimmy up that stainless steel. Just doesn't work. In the spring, I plan to plant out some sweet alyssum in here and have a bed of just white flowers. I want to do a mass planting, have lots of plans for that. But meantime, I am using sweet potato as ground cover. And I only started with about 10 little vines, and it is continuing to do well. But I just noticed, and it's so funny, I saw Kevin's epic homesteading video talking about gophers in his garden. I think I've got a mole in mine. Now, I'm not trying to grow these to eat, though I could. There's nothing wrong up here. It's good soil, good ground cover, but it looks like a mole has been making their way through here. But these will probably die back as winter gets going. That's okay. They'll come back. It'll add some greenery to the space along with the sweet alyssum. And last but not least is this beautiful tabibua tree. It needs more love than it's been getting. And, oh goodness, sounds like we have some cats fighting down there. Okay, got that cat fight. Broke up, sorry about that. I don't need new vet bills. I don't need these outdoor cats, Moose in the Meadow and Babyface, having to go back to the vet. So, you know, sometimes we just got to stop and take care of those things. But this tabibua tree is here, and I'm starting to see some buds, so that's great. We are out of the right zone for this, so we will have to protect this over winter so that we can get at least a few flowers on it. But overall, considering that it's November and I have done a terrible job as a gardener keeping things watered, except for my automatic system here, not too shabby. Got bananas. We've had peppers all season. We've had hot peppers. Now we've got an orange. We've had okra. We've had beans. We've had rosemary as we wanted it. Plenty of African blue basil. And even though the towers look like that, we had a lot of Thai basil this season too. And I already have sweet potatoes cured for Thanksgiving, so that makes me pretty happy. If you want to see some of the other videos of what's growing on here in the meadow and some of the projects we've done, YouTube thinks you'll like this video right up here. Until next time, my friends, remember to drink plenty of water, wear that high quality sunscreen, and as always, have a fantastic day.